Oh, what an adventure! Get lost with Google Maps. Good morning everybody, how are we today? It is a totally glorious morning. The sun's just up, it's about 9 AM. It's been up for a while actually, it gets up pretty early here in summer. But look at this sky, couple of little whispery clouds which will probably burn off as the day warms up. I'm still got my flannels on, it's only about 23, so when it gets up into the 27 my flannels will probably come off. Okay, so we're here working on the camper trailer. Now what I'm going to do before I start disconnecting everything, I'm going to pre-program the charge controller for the lithium batteries, and I'm going to pre-program the BMV 702 for the lithium batteries. This has to be done. Now, and I've also done a rough layout. Like you can see, I've got the circuit breakers, the BMV, the Victron charge controller, MPPT charge controller, fuses, shunt and disconnect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, now remember the maximum draw on these batteries, and I can show you that over here. Okay, charge current 80 amps, recommended 30. Well, I've got a 30 amp MPPT controller. That's the cyclic life. But the maximum draw, let's see, no, they don't say it on this piece of paper, they probably do, but anyway, the maximum draw is 80 amps, which I'm assuming what this 80 is for. The capacity is 100 amp hour, but that's to 100% discharged, and at 100% discharged, these batteries have a 2000 cycle life, which I will never ever, you know, like even those batteries there I only take down to 20-30%. So these ones here at 30% will do 8000. The cyclic life, okay, is 8000. That's at 20%, okay, at 20%. You see that there? Okay, 2000 minimum at 100% discharge, 8000 minimum at 20%. Okay. Okay, so now the batteries have a complete battery management system already built into them, which is great. Okay, now I've stapled that on upside down, Chris, but that doesn't matter. Here's my charging parameters. 14.8 volt charge, float at 13.8, charge current 30 amps, termination 5 amps. Well, that doesn't, it'll just keep putting power in until they won't take any more. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, because these are 80 amp batteries, okay, so we've got the circuit breakers, the charge controller. Now the fuses will probably lay down this way, you can see there, sorry. Okay, I've drawn them in that way, but they will probably, I've also drawn them in laying flat. What fuses am I using? Hang on a minute, I'll be back. Okay, so these are Blue Sea, don't know if you can see that, hang on. Anyway, these are Blue Sea fuses and explosive proof fuse cases. They're designed for the hulls of boats. So when you blow a fuse, they contain the arc and spark. I've got a video on that actually, of how these work. Very good. So these will probably go like that. Okay, and the two bottom ones will be 80 amp, because that's the maximum draw of the batteries. This top one up here, it's already got a, well, will be 150 amp. Now 80 and 80 is 160. But this is my sacrificial fuse. This is the one that'll blow because it's easier to get to. Okay, you have to think of things like that in the camper trailer, because if it blows, we've got to climb on top of the fridges, go over there and change the fuse. Okay, so that'll have a 150 amp fuse in it. Now everything else in the trailer, like these, have their own fuses. Just let me turn the camera around for a minute. Okay, I can't actually see the back of the camera because it's a GoPro, but you see under here, okay, oh sorry, okay, everything else, there we go, lift that back up again, has its own fuses. Now the driver's side, in Australia that's the right side, has a separate fuse system from the gear on the left side. The fuses for the gear on the left side are also over there, they're down there. Okay, so these all, everything on this side has its own fuses, and everything on that side. And what do I mean by everything on that side? Okay, I mean the water pump that's in here, the light, and there's a cigarette lighter socket at the back of the camper, right in there somewhere. Okay, they have their own separate fuses for each. So there's a separate one for the light, there's a separate one for the water pump, and there's a separate one for the lighter socket at the back. Okay, so it's very important to fuse everything correctly, and also make sure your wires don't rub when you run them. Okay, it is a camper trailer, it's on the road. Most of the time it's on rough corrugations. The Americans call those washboard roads. Over here we call them corrugations, and I've seen some corrugations that huge you just about lose a bloody car in them. But anyway, so that's okay. So getting back to me drawing, so there's a 4-way switch here. Okay, 4-way 300 amp battery switch, also marine grade. Why do I have a 400 amp battery switch? Because I do. And what that will allow me to do is switch it to one battery or the other battery, both batteries, or off. Now why do I need it? Because remember in the last video I said every 6 months the man from Solar King, who rang me back because I asked him all sorts of advice, and I do that whenever I wire anything, especially batteries, and he said they need to be charged every 6 months singly, because I'm running them in parallel, not in series, so because I'm still keeping everything at 12 volt. So running them in parallel, so every 6 months I'll switch it to battery 1, let the charge controller charge that, and when that one's full I'll switch the battery to battery 2, let the charge controller charge that, and that's how I'm going to look after my batteries. So I shouldn't see these batteries for many years. Once they're all in there and they're strapped in and they've got their strap and their rubber protective sheet over them, I shouldn't have to touch these new batteries for at least at 8,000 cycles, at least 12-15 years. So you know, this is it. This is the batteries were with shipping to me, they almost came to $1,200. Okay, and that's for 2 batteries, so that's not bad. The prices have come down, people, so now this is affordable. Now we're doing it. When the batteries were over $1,000 each, no, they weren't worth doing. Not the cost I buy batteries at. But now the batteries have come down in price, they are worth doing. So anyway, okay, So each battery is going to have an 80 amp fuse, and up here I'm going to have a 150 amp sacrificial fuse, and then we've got the shunt for the BMV 702. That's the battery monitor. Sorry about the lighting conditions, but you know, it is what it is. This is real life, and I'm old and I shake and my camera's not steady, but I do the best I can, and hopefully that's good enough for 90% of this. Alright, so that's a very basic layout. So basically all the negatives will go to this side of the shunt, the battery positives will go to the bottom end of the fuse and then go into their separate things there, and then the output, which is one wire, will go up to this end of the fuse, and everything else will come off that fuse. It will look a bit like a rat's nest because everything has to come off it. Like this one here, you know, they do look a bit like a rat's nest in there, but I don't really have a choice. My wiring's not always neat, but it's always extremely safe. Okay, so we've got a 150 amp sacrificial fuse going there, two 80 amp fuses here, one for each battery, and there's the fuse casings there, which I had down the shed. I've used them several times on different jobs. And then we've got the no arc circuit breakers in there for the solar input and the charge controller output. There's two different size circuit breakers there, and no arc well, it should be the standard for solar power. No arc circuit breakers, DC circuit breakers, they are extremely good. Okay, so basically that's it, people. That's what we're up to today. I'm going to program, then I'm going to strip everything out, and get ready for when the new batteries eventually turn up and my other bits I've ordered turn up. Then I can wire it in and start playing and having fun, wiring and all that, because I really enjoy that sort of stuff, like, you know, building systems. That really tickles me. And then when I get to turn it on and everything works smoothly, yeah, it's just an awesome feeling when you build something yourself. And DC's that really easy. The only thing you got to watch with DC is your wire sizing, because it's low volt, high amp. So your wire sizing's got to cover the amount of amps. And there's some excellent sizing tools on the internet. You just type in DC wire sizing, and you type in how many amps you want, and it'll give you the size of the wire you need to go and buy. Excellent tools. I have found a couple of them that were actually, the math was wrong, but you know, just check and find a good one and use that if you're not sure. Okay, otherwise it's watts divided by volts equal amps. Okay, and you can work it out that way. How many watts you're going to draw divided by the volts equals the amps, and that equals the wire size. So yeah, that's the plan. So it's pretty straightforward. It might not end up looking like this. Like I say, these fuses will probably lay down. The four-way switch will be there. Then we got the fuse, the shunt. So before I unplug everything out of here, I'm going to pre-program the charge controller and the shunt for the lithium batteries. And then I can start, well, we've got to take this fridge out, take the trays out, that's just 4 bolts. And then I can start, yeah, working stuff out when it gets here. You know, it's these batteries are hell heavy, eh? These older ones, and the new ones are only 13 point. The new ones are really light. Hang on a second. Oh wait, the new one's there, 15.1 kilos. There we go. See that? 15.1, and I think these ones are about 30 kilos, 33 kilos. But these are really, well, from all the research I did, and trust me, I did a lot of research before I'm parting with any of my money. I did a lot of research. Oh, by the way, Solar King have not sponsored this, me or my channel in any way whatsoever. There's the battery brand, the part number I'm using, the model. I don't know if you can read that. There you go. And this is not sponsored. I had no discounts. This is something I had, we wanted to do, and we're doing it. So when I say I've done my research, I've done my research well and truly. And yeah, all right, I've rattled on enough. That's it for this video. It's pretty boring watching me program shit and program stuff and pull gear apart. And that's basically all I'm going to do today, is just empty all this section of the trailer here to take the inverter out. These heavy wires that come to this side, these 2-aught wires, or 70 mil squared. These are coming out. I've got to run some other wires over here to power all that. But that won't be today, to power all the all this. There's a water pump there, and the one on this side. I've got another water pump on that side, but that's powered from over there. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. This is going to be fun. All right, keep safe, everyone, and I'll leave you with a view of my glorious morning. For all the friends of mine that are living under snow and haven't seen a blue sky in God knows how long. Update on Sigi. She's doing really well. I forget what it's called, what she's got, but basically she can get really dizzy, and it affects everything when she gets really dizzy. And she's got medication to take. And it's just an old people's thing, eh? It's a, you know, something over 60s and people get it. It's just, it's got a really long name, and it's not life-threatening. But for the first time it happened, it scared the crap out of both of us. But Sigi's doing really well. I'm doing a lot better knowing what the problem is, and that it's not life-threatening. So that's just lovely. We're blessed. We're truly blessed. All right, keep safe, everybody. Bye for now.